Sri Lankan heritage has left us with cuisines which are unique in flavor and also are succulent and colorful. We follow the culinary journey undertaken by a Sri Lankan entrepreneur to take Sri Lankan cuisine to the United Arab Emirates, creating an experience in taste which is unique, authentic and unforgettable. Today, we talk to this young, exciting entrepreneur on his culinary journey in UAE, stamping the Sri Lankan flavor in the hearts of people. This is his entrepreneurial journey, his leadership style, approach to risk and stakeholder management, presented to you on Insights on Leadership.
Udena, firstly let us thank you for inviting us to your beautiful restaurant and giving us your valuable time for this interview. I think our viewers would love to hear your journey from being a banker to becoming an entrepreneur.
I've been a banker for about 20 years and being an entrepreneur for the last 3 years. Even during that period I was like to the most extent that I was a banker. And I look at IBON more as like a passion rather than it's a business. So it's been having its ups and downs, but I've been enjoying doing that.
Tell us, what were the factors behind starting IBON?
Then starting IBON was us not having a proper Sri Lankan restaurant in Dubai. That's the time that I moved into Dubai was 2010, and being a banker we go out to have meals with other nationalities, and we didn't have a proper Sri Lankan restaurant to go and dine. And that was the main reason that I was thinking about having a Sri Lankan restaurant in Dubai.
So Udena, what was the reason for coming up with this name for the restaurant as Ayubowan?
The word Ayubowan is the first connection to Sri Lanka. That will be one of the most common words that the people will hear, especially for a non-Sri Lankan. Any association with Sri Lanka will start with Ayubowan. More than that, we have a deep meaning and a connection for the word Ayubowan or the concept of Ayubowan with the Sri Lankan cuisine. So we define Sri Lankan cuisine as a food and hospitality that prolongs life. So because if you take the Sri Lankan cuisine, when you walk into a Sri Lankan's house for a meal, they will offer you a glass of water, and that is to ensure that your system is cleansed, and most of our preparation and serving and everything is very much influenced by Ayurveda. And so that's the reason that we actually looked at Ayubowan, the brand, which actually takes this food and hospitality that prolongs life to an international arena.
Udena, tell us, in a city like Dubai, entering into restaurant business will not be easy. So what were the challenges, barriers you had to come across?
In Dubai, especially we are in a free zone called Jumeirah Lake Towers. It's a free zone called DNCC. Entering into a business in a free zone, it's quite easy, and the systems and the processes are very much straightforward. But opening a restaurant in Dubai requires a big capital. So I had to find investors, and especially Sri Lankan cuisine is not something which was very popular. So there was a quite a big challenge of attracting investors to invest on something which is on more of like on a experimental grounds. So that was the main challenge. And other than that, in Dubai, doing business is quite easy. So the main challenge was to attract that working capital and the initial upfront capital.
Now we are in a free zone. How has the government and infrastructure also supported in setting up AIBO within JLT?
So the free zone has a very clear infrastructure and sets the standards. It has all the ways that we operate. And it is very straightforward for a foreign businessman, and having processes and procedures laid in and the standards set, that makes a lot of like very comfortable for a foreign investor to come. And definitely Dubai, as well as DMCC has done that. You are confident that what is the playing field that you play, what are the rules in the game, and so they have said that, and that's something which is very important when you are actually investing money, investing effort, and trying to build something. So your sustainability and that assurance is there in Dubai, and especially in the NCC.
UAE is a country with diverse nationalities and cultures. So how would these nationalities and culture has impacted your business, and how you would have overcome it?
Been a strength for us, because there is a lot of different nationalities, and especially because of the different nationalities, even the food culture, people are used to try out different things, and there is a lot of choice. And so when we bring in a different concept, so we find a lot of people looking at us as an alternate cuisine restaurant. So we've been able to stamp the Sri Lankan identity into the food scene, and a lot of people are looking for different options, and having a very multicultural and multi-ethnic background in like a environment in Dubai has actually helped us because we bring in something unique to showcase and for people to come and experience that difference.
So there now we talked about AIBO and how it was the concept of AIBO and how it got established and the overall concept behind that. What we want to know and take a step back. During your childhood, do you recall anything which you believe had an impact on you being an entrepreneur now?
Good question. Mainly, actually, I did not become an entrepreneur and then open AIBO, and it was more of my food passion brought me here. I was a Boy Scout, and we did a lot of spent a lot of outdoor, and throughout that time we actually had to cook our meals, and until I actually left Sri Lanka, I was involved with the scout group, and so we were doing serious cooking, and so that actually got me involved in the Sri Lankan cuisine. We did a lot of experiments, and I did a lot of like trips looking at different origins of Sri Lankan cuisine, and that was the main reason for me to get into the food business. Once you are in the business, you don't have a choice to look at being an entrepreneur and look at it on a business venture, because it's not only you have your investors, you have your other stakeholders and all that. So me being passionate about food actually brought me here. Now I move as an entrepreneur because you have to look after the interest of the other.
Udena, what do you think that makes you unique special personality traits or any management styles you would like to describe?
Uh, if you take IBO and we use we use a term called bold and ambitious. So I personally feel that the boldness and then that the ambition is what I bring to the business. So that would be something which if I describe, because at the time that when we opened IBO, we did not have other Sri Lankan restaurants doing at this level, and also when I was talking to the investors, also there wasn't a proper case study about a Sri Lankan restaurant. So that I had to give them that confidence, and especially to give me that confidence. So that was mainly coming from my boldness and willing to take the challenge. And one of our key pillars, if you read IBO in literature, you will come across this word, bold and ambitious. So it's not only ambitious, we are bold also, taking the cuisine to the front.
So how have you used this bold and ambitious to create value in making Ayubong a homegrown restaurant in UAE?
Ambition is not just to sell cuisine, it is to stamp our Sri Lankan identity away from home. So to do that, we had to maintain a high standard, and we had to create our own identity. And I'm sure that a lot of people, when we associate the name Ayubo One or the Ayubo restaurant in Dubai, we have been able to create a mark that we are quality and we maintain a particular standard. And so that setting that high expectation and that standard from the start was that our boldness, that it's not start small, grow, and slow and steady. These are the normal business models that we have seen. Is that we pitched from the start we wanted to be the market leader, we wanted to be the best Sri Lankan cuisine footprint, and that's where we started, and we achieved that to a greater extent, that we had a good following. We created the fashion about the cuisine, and we created different concepts like bringing in the street food. So when we started the street food, and we created new fusion dishes, and also we brought in certain recipes which were actually not showcased in restaurants, like umbrella juice or things like that were actually not very popular amongst the individual restaurants. So that's from the start we wanted to create an impression, and that's where our ambition and the boldness actually started.
Udena, as you said earlier, getting into the food industry was your passion. So, but being a banker and becoming an entrepreneur would have had greater risk. What is your opinion in taking risk?
Without taking a calculated risk, you will not actually achieve what you would. There is so much of people who have actually taken risk. Without them having taken this risk in life and risk in experimenting certain things, we wouldn't have been living in today's world. Bank was also actually like, I'm professionally a lawyer, so lawyer turned banker, banker turning into an entrepreneur. So risk is within you. It's like whether you are willing to take the challenge and whether you are willing to take the change, how resilient that you are into change. And maybe because I had that background, especially being a lawyer, and I always have that what do you call it, like a insurance policy, because you have always, like coming out from being a banker, getting back to banking is going to be difficult. But my background is being a lawyer, and so always if I have to get back to work, it's not something which is difficult. And I think people need to take a calculated risk and be close to what you like to do, and then when you do what you're supposed to do.
True, you take calculated risk, and some have been successful. Also, you would have had support in your journey. How have your employees contributed to the success of Ayubowan?
Especially opening a restaurant as a new brand, new name. So there were staff who actually resigned from 5-star hotels and joined me. There were staff who left Sri Lanka and came here. And also there were staff who actually went an extra mile, trying to understand the local market, get licenses from Dubai, and trying to we worked as a team. So it's been in hospitality industry and in a small company, it's very difficult to retain staff on a longer term, because I come from very big multinational companies, and it's not how your structures are broad where you can grow within the business. And when you're in a small company, your growth opportunities are limited. So you should work with staff to ensure that their growth, even external, should be something that you support. And I have few of my staff who's doing senior positions in different institutions, and that's how we've been able to work with the team. And constantly I get new members coming in. It's all 100% Sri Lankan. We support them to enhance their talents and also get the best of working in UAE and working in Dubai.
As you said, while nurturing your employees for their growth, for their enhancement of their talents, how would you motivate them? How do you keep them motivated to reach greater heights, to take Ayubowan to the next level?
Hiring itself, we do the hiring if they are actually passionate about working for Sri Lanka and taking the Sri Lankan identity away from home. So when we actually achieve certain things as an organization, the staff also gets motivated. We always try to keep the communication very open, and if all the staff are aware where we are, what are we trying to achieve, and where we are going to head towards. And we've been able to create a certain level of brand identity, as well as we have been able to create an impression in Dubai about the Sri Lankan cuisine. We won some awards, and so staff are very much involved in this process. So they also become a part of, so if you see that again, we have certain key slogans that we operate. Is like ours is a journey. We start the journey. It is not just a mission. That it's like whether it is to grow or whether it is to take the cuisine or whether it is to expand. It's all considered as a journey. So most of the staff are with me in terms of carrying it as a journey. Sometimes they may be working with Ayubowan, or whether they are not here anymore, but they are all still a part of that journey.
Another stakeholder in your journey would always be your family. How has their support and have helped you again in the success?
Family has been a great strength. Unfortunately, they don't live here with me in Dubai. So one is that they've been giving me the support because of my busy schedule. Until about a few months ago, I was a banker as well as an entrepreneur. So running a very like two jobs in the same time type of a thing, and they all been a part of IBO, and one of the best critiques are my daughter and my wife, both. So they come and do their analysis, and my wife is involved in the business, and daughter also is very much, she's a very young girl, but she also constantly is engaged in the process. So they've been actually supporting me from side, but it's always a challenge to manage family time, and also once you are in an investment, that you will have your financial troubles and everything. So that's something which you need to balance and get their support, keep them engaged, keep them informed how the process and where we are trying to look. And the most important thing is to engage them into that journey, and they also enjoy the phases that you go through.
With the phase 1 completed, now your role as a business owner is cemented, I believe. How has the responsibilities from being a banker is different from being a business owner? What are your responsibilities as a business owner, and how has that helped you go on?
Being a business owner, you're responsible not only for yourself or for a company, is that your staff, their families, your customers, your well-wishers, to investors, the stakeholders are broad. You have to ensure that you look after their interest. You have to be aware of their requirements and work. So banker's role would be more of like you get a set of objectives and you deliver it, and after that you get at end of the day you get a monthly salary and a year-end bonus, and that's more of a very safe process. Being a businessman is not like that. You will have to face different challenges, economic conditions and competition, and so you always have to be in the game more than, so it's a but both sides you will have ups and downs, goods and bads. So I don't regret being a banker or working as a professional. And now it's a phase that we are spending more time and applying what we learn from working into a business, and thereby you actually help the people who are with you to achieve their dreams.
If you are asked to explain yourself in one word, the word Udena, what would it be?
Udena, the Sinhalese meaning of Udena is early to rise. I would describe myself also as Udena is because whenever there is opportunity or whenever there is a need or something, and I would be somebody who would early to rise. So my personality is also the same thing of the meaning of Udena. That's how I look at myself, and I try to keep things simple and face things as it is. Like you can be a businessman, professional, or whatever it is. End of the day, you're human, and you can be whoever in here. You will be end up as a Sri Lankan. So there are certain things which you live within. So be that, and don't have to be somebody else.
Since culinary cuisine has become part of your life and it's your passion, tell us what is your recipe that defines success?
Planning, and so you have to plan what you have to do, and then you have to collect your ingredients, your resources, and that, and you need to have the timing of so you have to have a proper schedule, and then you have to actually start the ignition. Is you have to switch on the cooker, otherwise it will not cook. So you have to start. So that's the process that for anything, but you have to plan, collect your ingredients. It could be your financials to staff or the raw material or knowledge or whatever it is, and then you have to have a timeline of what and when you are going to execute or do that. And the most important thing is that you need to ignite the cooker.
Udena, finally, tell us what would be your take-home advice for future budding business leaders or entrepreneur who gets into various sort of business. What would be your advice for them?
My advice is that if they actually have a dream, work towards it and start from somewhere. So a lot of people, they continue to be dreamers. They don't actually live the dream, so they are scared. So if you have a dream, work towards it and start from somewhere, living that dream. And that's my advice. Because I have met a lot of people in the restaurant. They have come and told me, we also wanted to open a Sri Lankan restaurant. We were thinking about doing this, and now since you have started, we might not do it, and things like that. So we find a lot of people amongst us who actually wants to do things, but they are scared, or they haven't actually got the opportunity, or they have been not prepared, or they have not been fast enough. So my advice is that if you want to be an entrepreneur, is that take that first decision, move fast, and you by that. Then after that, once you are in it, there will be a constant process of learning and improving yourself, and you get about to do it. And if you're thinking that it's the risk, start small.
Udena, thank you once again for having us here and giving us your valuable experience and insight into leadership, and giving us advice, MBA's advice on if they do want to start entrepreneur company or any venture, giving your advice. It's been, I think, very valuable to all our MBAs as well. And we wish you all the very best in your future endeavors, even whether it's iBorn or any other in your business life as in your family, as well as your family life. Thank you once again. So we will conclude today. iBorn.